A lot of people are not owning up to the involvement of this whole thing. They may have been indirectly a benefactor of the mortgage boom. For an example, you spend a lot of money on entertainment, right? You go out, you buy drinks for everybody, you entertain the realtors, taking you out to lunch and stuff.
But the buyers ended up paying for that, though.
Everybody paid. Well, I mean, no, really,
And that's
because
why we are
it
where we
wasn't
are.
like the bartender said, "I ain't taking your tip today."
Right.
It wasn't like the bartender said, "You can't buy no more drinks." It wasn't like the restaurant said, "You can't buy no more meals." Y'all didn't say, "I don't want to eat with you today." You know what I'm saying? So everybody benefited from it. It's just, in my opinion,
The buyers didn't benefit from it
You-
because they didn't know. And
Okay.
when you get good faith estimates that have $1,000 underwriting fee, $750
That's brokers.
processing fee.
That's brokerage stuff.
That's brokerage fees. That wasn't Countrywide fault, that's brokerage fees.
Right.
And my professional opinion is, you can't blame it on the mortgage companies, you can't blame it on the brokers, you gotta blame it on the individual, the homeowner, themselves. The reason why I would blame it on the homeowners themselves is because they are presented with that paperwork for their own personal records. You should read your own personal paperwork before you sign your life away.
Well, I kind of
agree.
disagree
But
with that
they
because
also-
what happened is the homeowner goes off of emotions.
Okay.
So if you're there for the good of that person, you don't want to get into their emotions and use that to disadvantage them, because when it comes down to it at the end, that person wants the house. A man done promised it to his wife, "I'm gonna get you this house." The
Grandma
kid's gonna
done
get
seen
that
it.
house.
Right.
The kids
At the
done seen
end,
it.
you come down and say, "Okay, you cannot get this house unless you take
Unless.
this interest rate." But you promised him a different interest rate at the beginning where he could afford that, but now his emotions is all tied up in that, so he's not gonna let his wife down, he's not gonna let his kids down, so he's gonna sign on the dotted
So
line.
who
They've been
fault is
walking
that,
around
though?
the property.
Who fault is that?
When you
I
take
would
the-
say
when you
this.
take the
I would
emotions
say
out,
this.
son,
We
Who
found
fault is
something
that?
on the credit, like 2 days before closing, and,
he already knew ahead of time that it was already on the credit.
'cause
But
they
his
ain't done
integrity
nothing
didn't tell
different.
the guy to say, "Hey, you need to find a smaller house or something before your emotions get tied up into it." Then he got to go back to his wife, but he don't want to go back to his wife because his wife done told all her friends. So
Grandmama
That
knows.
child
Grandmama
knows.
he's gonna
knows.
take the chance.
And just like Brother Phil said, everybody benefited from it.
yes.
You know, the homeowner benefited from it, we as brokers and loan
But they
officers, we
couldn't keep
benefited
it.
from it. I mean, but at
They
the same,
couldn't keep it.
at the same time, I mean, the reason why,
That's
like I
why
said
we
before,
want
I think
they
it's,
couldn't keep it.
You know,
I think it went both ways, though.
Yeah.
It went
Just
both ways.
so I can clarify that, I was always taught to be a responsible lender. Actually, when I was back in those days, the company that I was with, that's what they promoted, responsible lending. So when it came, and I'm sure you've heard Angela talk about that, Countrywide talk about that. That's what Angelo used to always tell us. That was my mindset. Because my thing, I would lose business because I couldn't do a loan for somebody that had subprime credit. I was an A lender. Or I talk to a person when I take them through a pre-application consultation and say, you know, they want somebody, well, I can get an interest-only loan. I'm sure that's what you want. I mean, you know, you start breaking it down.
Tell me why
I-
you want them.
Right, well, they don't know. I mean, you know, and you tell them, you explain everything, and they say, well, they feel like they can give it, that's the way to go. I lost business because of that. Not only just the client, but the real estate agent as well. So again, my mindset has been and still is today responsible lending. I am one though to believe, and I know this may sound crazy, I don't believe that everybody should own a home. I really don't, because they're not prepared.
Right, that's what I was gonna say.
You know what I'm
But I
saying?
think it's about educating them and making sure they are prepared.
Right.
I
At least
think they are
educate.
prepared.
And the decision is theirs.
The people
But-
from Fannie Mae used to talk about me, that my name in the industry, amongst them, we used to call ourselves the family. They used to call me the. Because when it was one time I went to a home buying seminar, they introduced me. This is Billy Fields from, I'm not gonna say the name of the organization, big firm, Big Five, one of the Big Five. And I came out, hi, so and so, so and so. And thank you all for making yourself available for coming to the seminar. And if you've not prepared yourself to, you know, to buy a home, you may want to think of doing something else. I'm going to respectfully turn around. I'm going to take a sip of water. If you've not done these three things, save some money, clean your credit up, or understand what you're trying to get into from a level beyond where you are, I respectfully suggest that you leave now. And I turned around and sipped some water and came back, and you can't be talking to them people like that. I mean, like, y'all not telling them the real truth. The industry really had no real loans for them.
They got
They-
greedy.
They are greedy. So when they created that stuff, they created loan products for people that really, in my opinion, was not prepared. They shouldn't have owned a home anyway. They couldn't afford it when they bought it.
But
That's
they put the
predatory
opportunity
lending.
in front of them,
Mhm.
and when the guy can no longer even consider being in real estate mortgages ever again, not ever again, never.
Well, you just heard a wonderful conversation with real estate agents, real estate professionals, and tax professionals. Stay on the level with Billy Fields. My name is Sunshine Shayna. 2012, we'll have more conversations just like this. Have a good night.